statement, but anyway, shall I begin?
Yes, let's go to the first one, which is interesting
the
because I have
first-
something to also. Yeah.
All right. Well, the first one is that recent news that scientists have found a new way to hunt for aliens. Now, when I was looking for something for us to talk about this morning, and I saw
Yeah.
this piece, I was thinking, oh, this, what's it going to be? And I was actually quite surprised at what it was. But so basically, what's been found is a new way to look for hidden signals of not life
Mm-hmm.
presently, but life in the past. Basically, fossilized life. But
Yes.
the way the technology has been, or rather the technology that has been developed, which is new, would aid us, for example, currently, if it was available on site, it would help us, for example, on Mars currently, it would be very
Yes.
useful to apply to rock samples on the rovers that are up there right now. And
Yeah.
using, basically what the scientists have done is they've used cutting edge chemical techniques paired with our new friend artificial intelligence and found evidence of ancient life in 3.3 billion year old rocks on Earth. And this is significant in that, and I don't think I included this, but I can tell you now that using this technique, they established that there were photosynthetic organisms in Earth fossils almost 1 billion years earlier than had previously been thought. And
Uh-huh.
the way um, the way this new technique works is that basically what they do is they take fossil remnants from a rock and they put it through gas chromophotography and then through mass spectrometry. And doing
Uh-huh.
this releases, instead of, they're not looking for DNA, what they're looking for are molecular fragments. So these end up
Yes.
with, the interesting bits are actually fragments of DNA or maybe fragments of a lipid. Now, a lipid is like a biologic fat, right?
Fat.
So
Exactly.
it's a fat, right? The kind that is used by living things. And then what they do is they then hand over this data to this AI that has been trained for this job. And what it does is, instead of looking for specific things like, a molecule of this, it looks at
Uh-huh.
all the fragmented information that is spread throughout the sample data. And because obviously it can
Mm-hmm.
work super
And tries to
fast,
fill the gaps.
yeah, basically it can build a picture and basically make a judgment on whether the data that has been presented represents a living or is representative of a living thing.
Uh-huh.
And it's a technique that co-author of the paper that was just published, a Dr. Robert Hazen, I think from a British university, I forgot to include that, but I think he's British university. He is
Mm-hmm.
saying that this is a paradigm shift in the field and that it can actually look beyond just what is currently done, which is, was it life or wasn't it life? Basically, what it's able to do through this new process is distinguish between photosynthetic forms and non-photosynthetic forms, and even between broad groups like
Yeah.
eukaryotes, which is what we're made up of, I think that's right, and prokaryotes, which are another group which we're not made up of, right? So what he also talked about, and I summarized, and I haven't included everything, is
Yeah.
that NASA have actually given his group a grant to develop a, shall we say, a transportable version of this technique. So you can imagine, for example, then that it could end up on a future rover,
Yeah.
maybe on Mars, maybe somewhere else, where it will actually be able to apply these techniques so that instead of actually having to look as we do currently for, kind of distinct fossils in rocks, they'll be able to do this
Yeah.
AI boosted kind of analysis that will be able to. Oh, and by the way, the accuracy is very good.
It's high.
It's something
Yeah.
like 90% plus accuracy, right? Which is
Yeah. In
amazing,
fact, yeah, that's what I wanted to mention about Mars as well, actually, because
right?
you know that recently NASA made that announcement about uh, in was September, at the beginning of September, around 10th,
Yeah,
if I recall properly, and they were saying about these rocks that they found,
yeah, yeah. I saw the
certain
pictures.
patterns in them, and
Mm.
according to the studies from you know, peer reviewed from other scientists, the conclusion was that the potential for this to be life or linked
Evidence
to
of, yeah,
organic material, and the minerals there are linked to organic, is actually very high. So it's the most probable
yeah.
cause. But of
Yeah, so
course, there's
imagine if
this
they had
idea
this,
of
right?
bringing back samples, and they are preparing
Mm.
supposedly a mission to do that.
Yeah, but
Uh,
that's now currently abandoned. That mission.
All right, I didn't know that part, but it's interesting
Yeah,
because, like you said, they could just fit a new rover with this
right.
technology and do the test directly there, if it's
Yeah.
possible.
So
Because I'm
maybe,
not sure actually it could be fitted inside in a rover, basically.
well, that's what apparently NASA have funded them to do a study. Could they get it? Could they get it? Make it big enough to fit in a mini?
Exactly.
Because if you can fit
The
it in a
portable
mini, we can
version.
roverize it.
Yeah.
And then maybe in a deal with BMW, they can drop a mini onto Mars, right? An
Yeah.
electric mini.
Well, wasn't Elon Musk that launched a car into space? So,
Yeah, yeah. We know it can be done, right?
why not?
Yeah. All it's holding it back is boring common sense. That's the only thing.
Definitely.
Anyway,
But I think that is a
but
very interesting
but
thing.
but I tell you what occurred to me was reading between the lines that probably aren't there, but I'm going to do it anyway. Is that if you can develop this, or shall we say, shrink this approach into rover size, then, as I mentioned just now, that return mission is currently cancelled. Right?
Okay.
It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maybe because of this,
but is it?
actually.
Well, no, it was cancelled because of budgetary constraints. Because NASA refused to send a recovery vehicle to Mars that didn't have Trump all down the the rockets.
Uh-huh.
Because apparently they refused to do that. You can imagine. So it was cancelled. It's currently cancelled. But you can imagine the timing. The timing's interesting. So that mission is cancelled currently,
Cheers.
but they've asked this group to develop this instrument. So could you imagine a new rover that had this instrument on board, maybe with some others, and it
Yeah.
goes to Mars and drives around the samples, picks them up, and pops them into its laboratory.
Yeah. Exactly.
You you heard it here first, Rafa. That is my proposal.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we should
I,
send
I
an
can I
email
can
to
totally
NASA.
see that happening. Yeah. I mean, like, really, I see that happening, and I guess this I don't know if you call it urgency in those times we're living in right now, of trying to find
Uh,
something else
only on
outside.
Only on certain areas of the internet.
I don't
They're
know,
desperate.
honestly.
Seriously.
I don't know.
Oh, you
I
think
think it's
we think?
also in general.
Do you think we need a bigger idea from somewhere? Something bigger
I
to
think
think
that
about?
probably. I think we're reaching a
Well,
point in society that we need something else.
something almost outside of ourselves,
Hmm. Yeah,
beyond
that's
this stupid, insane asylum of a planet that we're living on, right?
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that is what we're living on. Who knows, right?
Yeah. All right.
Maybe,
Second topic.
maybe I'm just going to
Yeah.
finish with maybe,
Okay.
maybe on galactic television, Earth, um, Earth is the reality TV show of the decade.
Could be.
Forget
Yeah.
forget the Kardashians. Just watch the Earth soaps.
Which is in Earth. So the Kardashians as well. So
Yeah. Well, maybe we could swap them for the Kardashians.
yeah.
Anyway, that was that one. I thought it was pretty interesting, and
Yeah.
I don't know whether that is breaking news that we just announced that new mission profile for NASA, but I think
No, it
it's
doesn't matter. I
pretty
think it
good.
was interesting to talk about it. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So, do you want to cover this next one?
Yes. Well, the next one, I think it's, how can we say? It has become almost like a, how do you can
It's
say that
almost like
expression?
mythical, almost, isn't it?
Mythical, exactly. That's the word. Mythical
Yeah,
thing to
yeah.
think about and very enigmatic thing. So we're
It's
going to
gonna
talk
it's gonna
about
be a
dark
religion
matter.
soon. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Religion around dark matter. So really, for a long time, uh, scientists have been trying to understand, or how can we say, prove that dark matter exists,
Exactly.
and which, there have been a lot of experiments and even just a theoretical way to explain why dark matter it actually exists. But until now, was not really something tangible to say, I think this is the proof that
Yeah.
it's real, until a new analysis uh, that occurred over 15 years of data. So it was not just
Mm,
something that happened right now, but they took data from a longer period of time, was
yeah.
analyzed by the Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope, and the claim is that they were able to get a very weird, mysterious glow that surrounds the Milky Way.
We love a
And they
glow.
are saying that because the way uh, these energies
It's
are, sharply are peaking sharply around the galaxy.
it's the
Basically,
energy
they said
band,
that
isn't it? Yeah.
the energy, yes, it's basically the signal is pretty much almost like the hypothetical dark matter particle that they have been trying to prove.
It, well, that it was predicted it would produce this effect, this gamma ray
Exactly, this
signal,
effect. Yeah. So,
theoretically.
yes. So basically, right now, they're in the process of really confirming things. There was a declaration from Professor Tomonori Totani, which is a astronomer from the University of Tokyo, saying that if this was correct, to his knowledge, basically it will mark the first time that humanity has actually seen dark matter.
Yeah. Or
But of
direct
course,
evidence of it. Right?
direct evidence of it. But in these things, there's always also opposed views, and I don't know. Some people agree, some people don't agree, and
Yeah.
there's another professor in Stockholm University, Jan Conrad. He is an expert also in this kind of gamma ray searches for dark matter and so on, but independent
Mm.
one. And he points that the next step of all this is dwarf galaxies, and that basically
Yeah.
those small galaxies that are orbiting the Milky Way are believed to be extremely rich in dark matter. And
And
because of
simple,
their
apparently.
and simple, yeah, exactly, like really minimal. And this could become actually the cleanest way or laboratory way to test dark matter, in in reality.
Can you find that gamma ray signal in those dwarf galaxies?
I think that it's the challenge now to understand if those dwarf galaxies are actually being, for example, all this glow that we see is actually coming from those surrounding small dwarf galaxies around the Milky Way. So,
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
well, it's interesting
dark
because it
matter.
proves something. Yeah,
Well,
go
hopefully.
ahead. Yeah.
But all I was going to say was that obviously, like you say, the dark matter is it's almost like the boogeyman, right? It's just, I mean, living in a universe where 95% of the matter in it is apparently not visible just seems incredibly untidy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost like we're living in the fluff under the carpet. It's like, what the hell, right?
Yeah. I think it's this idea that if there's nothing, how could there afterwards something move? For example, with a space in between, like
Well,
ah,
I was reading something the other day, and I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. I'm not sure how we would be able to talk about that. Which was
okay.
there is actually another theory. Obviously, there are always other theories, but there is another theory that is being advanced that is gaining some traction
Mm-hmm.
that accounts for, well, actually doesn't require dark matter to explain
Okay.
how the observable universe, because the dark matter explanation is in part due to the observation about how the universe is expanding and
Mm-hmm.
what is it that holds galaxies together. Because if there wasn't dark matter, the galaxies, under the current understanding, if there wasn't hidden matter, galaxies would just fly apart.
Uh-huh.
So dark
Yeah.
matter was introduced as an explanation for what is holding these like spiral galaxies together. But
Yeah.
there
Keeping
are
everything actually
alternative.
together. Yeah.
Exactly. But there are alternative explanations that don't require dark energy at all. And
Mm-hmm.
one of them that I read about recently is actually gaining some ground. But I think the problem, I don't like to say this because I'm a very big science believer. Um, but I do wonder sometimes whether some of the disagreement about, somebody comes up with this explanation of this signal, dark energy, this is it,
Uh-huh.
we're onto it. And then, of course, you get the big pile on as from other scientists who say that's a load of bollocks, blah, 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 because of this, that, and the other. But of course, I have a, I don't want to say this, but I am going to say it, which is that obviously all these scientists are all getting funding from somewhere. This is their living, right? And
Yes.
I know scientists are supposed to have this higher. Well, I know they do. They're not supposed to. They work to a, shall we say, a higher
Yeah.
goal of they follow the evidence, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So scientists,
Hmm.
the thing about science is that it's right till it's not right, and then
Yes.
if somebody else comes up with a better explanation, then that's the explanation, right? And I think a lot of people
Yeah.
struggle with that, actually.
To a point, I think, recently I was also riffing a bit into that actually notion of what's our current state with science, basically. So it used to be the fact that scientists were always open to new possibilities to study and to do the work for it, basically. To be
Yeah.
able to prove your own thesis, your own
Theory.
theories, you
Yeah,
have to work on it, right? Uh, Nowadays, I believe that a lot of scientists have become just, I don't know, stars on the social media, or they just, maybe because what you say, personal grants, or they
well, it's
just,
a living,
you know,
right?
their own personal beliefs. They just, if there's any
Hmm.
new theory or any new proposal for something, I think it's very hard for these scientists to stay open minded for it or actually
Well,
do the work. And instead, they try to debunk without actually doing the work or offering their
yeah,
own
yeah,
proofs for that.
yeah.
That's how I
I agree
started
with
to
you.
see that
I
this thing happening recently.
I think there is an element of that, and I think it's one of those. How shall I say? Almost like a taboo subject in the science world that is not fully confronted. That that there, it's not just the idyllic idea of science for science sake. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the act of discovery and all this stuff. Unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
there is also a grubby kind of money grabbing element that
Yeah.
obviously brings the whole thing into disrepute, and I suspect is a tiny minority, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously scientists who are, shall we say, media, who are, you know, well known, they're not necessarily crooked, obviously. Um, but
No.
if we think about how many scientists there are and just how much scientific work is being done at any one time, it is probably millions and millions of man hours per week or something, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
just like in life, in general life, it is always a tiny minority that screw it up for everybody else, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like I've said to you in the past. I don't need a law to tell me that it's illegal to murder somebody. I just know it's wrong, right? Right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But
That's right. Yeah.
apparently we have to have a law about it, right? Because there's this tiny minority of nutbags that go around murdering people. So now we have to have this bloody law that says it's illegal, right? I don't need it, right? And I think it's the same in every endeavor in life,
I
everything
agree.
that people can do, right? It's always the
Mm-hmm.
tiny minority that spoil it for the majority who just want to get
Mm-hmm.
on with it, right?
Yeah. All
I would
right.
give you as another, I'd just give you as a final sample the world of dictators, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
how many of them are there, right? And look how much misery they cause, right? Where's the
Mm-hmm.
law banning dictators? That's what I want to know. Anyway, I'm
Well,
getting carried away
yeah.
now.
Yeah. Let's keep the politics for now. let's go. Let's go to the last
let's
one.
go to let's go to topic number 3, right? Okay, I
Yeah.
shall do this one, shall I? Anyway,
Yes.
this
Go ahead.
one is quite interesting in that it's kind of one of those alternative explanations for literally everything. And it's
Uh-huh.
basically this idea that the dominant idea of the last, I don't know, I think it's about 70 years, is the Big Bang Theory to explain the
Uh-huh.
universe, at least if you're not an avid Bible reader or a Quran reader. I just did an equal opportunities call out there, right? Um,
Uh-huh.
so the Big Bang Theory obviously is that the universe began from an indefinable singularity, and
Mm-hmm.
within a fraction of a second, it went through a period called inflation, where a lot of shit happened very quickly. And since then, the universe has been, well, infinitely large, I suppose, and getting
Uh-huh.
bigger. Now, I have, I have an interesting point here. This is a philosophical point. I think you'll appreciate this, Rafa. Right.
Okay.
So, the universe, we are told, is infinite, right? We're told that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So, how can it get any bigger?
Yeah. There's nothing to be expanded if it's already infinite. I agree. I agree with your
So,
view exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've got a basic confusion somewhere. You know, it can't
In the
be
choice of
infinite
words.
and
Yeah.
growing. Anyway,
I think that you
back
know what's
to
the difference actually here? It's in the words
yeah,
that are chosen sometimes. Because instead of
it is the
growing,
wording. Yeah,
the correct
it's
word probably would
expanding.
be expanding. Exactly.
Exactly,
That's the correct
exactly.
expression for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
I'm not sure it. I'm not sure it quite explains everything, but anyway, let's not worry
I
about
don't
that.
think so. No, yeah, but yeah.
Maybe somebody will put us straight at some point. Anyway, so there is a new idea on the block by oh another British scientist called Enrique Gastañaga.
Gazzaniaga.
Is that right? Gastañaga.
Gastañaga.
Is that? That's a South American name, isn't it?
It's more sounds more likely like Spanish, maybe
Spanish. Oh, so it could be Spanish, right?
Basque even. Yeah,
Okay. Anyway,
Gastañaga.
he has put he has put forward this rather splendid idea that basically the universe was not created in a big bang, but what Enrique, that's what I'm going to call him, Enrique, he calls it a big bounce. And
Yeah,
basically, this is where the matter that created our universe fell into a giant black hole, became compressed, and because there is a limit to compression, which, by the way, this piece talks about it, but I left it out because it was like, oh my God. Anyway, apparently there is a limit beyond which matter can be compressed. And when matter is
uh-huh.
compressed to this limit, which has a fancy name which I've not included, when matter compresses to this limit, instead of actually
Mm-hmm.
compressing further, it actually bounces back. There's like a
Mm-hmm.
pushback. And it's to do with quantum physics and the reality that you can't squash multiple particles into the same space, basically. You can't
Uh-huh.
have simultaneously existing particles in the same space. So basically, once you get compression down to a certain point, there's a fundamental kind of pushback to stop it going over this limit, this compression limit, and you get a rebound. And what Enrique says is that our universe could have been there's theoretical evidence that our universe was matter that fell into a gigantic black hole, hit the
Mm-hmm.
compression limit, and then rebounded and expanded to create our universe. And he says, Enrique says, our entire observable universe could be inside of a black hole that is itself in a
Of
larger
course.
universe.
Yeah.
Now that's an interesting thought,
Yeah, but
right?
I think this thought has been around maybe in a similar forms. The fact that people believe that there's other universes as well, and it's
Well, it kind of,
very
yeah,
interesting this view. Because if,
yeah,
like he said, we are part of a black hole, that black hole has to be part of something else as well,
yeah,
right? Cannot be that black hole a singularity just like that itself. So if there
yeah,
are other black holes, every other black hole would have its own universe or mini universe
yeah.
as well.
Well, yeah. Anyway, the upshot of all this is that this theory makes a number of predictions, and interestingly, some of them are potentially testable. So
Okay.
so the big one, um, the big one is that this theory predicts that this black hole captured universe that we may be living in, if we measure the um, the curvature of space
Mm-hmm.
of our universe, then if it is slightly curved, like a positively, like looking
Mm-hmm.
at a sphere, shall we say, obviously on very large scales. But if it is seen to be curved, then that would actually reinforce the idea because the current theory, the Big Bang theory, predicts that space, I'm assuming space and time, or
Uh-huh.
that, the fabric of the universe is flat. Now, this measurement of the curvature of space or of the universe has already been tested. And so far, it has come out flat. But uh,
Mm-hmm.
what is thought is that the current test sensitivity that is producing this flat result may not be sensitive enough, and that what it needs is a more sensitive instrument. Now, it just so happens that the European Space Agency's Euclid spacecraft is,
Uh-huh.
as we speak, making the most accurate measurement of cosmic curvature. Not often you get to say that in the morning. So basically, this measurement of cosmic curvature is a multi-year endeavor, and it's doing it right now, has been doing it for some time, and it won't finish until 2030. So in 2030, if Euclid comes up with um, a curved space result for our
Hmm.
universe, then all bets could be off on the Big Bang Theory, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's quite major, right?
Well, it is, and it reminds me also again that anime. One second, let me see the name because uh, sometimes I Pantheon. So
Pantheon.
maybe I'm giving away a bit of spoilers or spoiler alert, but it's
Yeah.
also about this theory of having so many universes sphere-like aligned, and
Oh,
that
right, right,
and also kind of related to a multi-universe or multi-reality in a way uh,
right.
setup. I think it's a very interesting thing. I mean, I believe that we are now trying. I'm not sure if we are really doing it. Trying to move into, or hopefully trying to move into a new wave of physics or
I
knowledge
think you're right.
that would go
Well,
beyond what we already know.
not based on captured alien technology.
Yeah, exactly. Or who knows? You never know. The latest trend in the topics is that, right?
Is what? Sorry, go on. What? What is?
Well, about this, because was released recently that documentary called Disclosure, um,
Right.
and it has been
I,
expected for a long time. It's on Prime, so on. Uh, it has been now the whole rumors about if Trump is going to disclose the truth. Is I don't know what. I think it's still
he
a lot of
wouldn't know the truth if it hit him in the face.
yeah. At this point, yeah, no, not at all. Anyway, again, let's move away from politics and
Yeah.
or this will
Yeah.
not end well. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I don't. I don't know. You
Hmm.
know that just to try and wrap this up. You know that there was that recent stuff about that. You know that Tic Tac UFO thing,
Yeah.
and that there's that guy he's on definitely he's on YouTube. Is he called Ross something?
Oh,
He's a
the journalist Rose Colhart.
yeah, that's him. And I don't watch everything he comes across reasonably credible, and the way he kind of does it. I mean, he's a long in the tooth journalist, right? He has
Hmm.
a lot of years behind him on the job, but obviously he's got into this kind of thing, and he not that long ago revealed inverted commas
Okay.
that Tic Tac was a Lockheed Martin project,
Hmm.
right? So obviously Lockheed Martin, big defense company, right?
Hmm.
And that the technology behind it was, I think what he said, what I'm pretty sure I'm right in this, that he said that allegedly the technology was not of this earth, Rafa, right?
I know. I actually know the story of that. Yes. So
Right.
yes, what he
Now
said something is like it is a Lockheed Martin project. It's, let's say, human-made technology based on uh, back engineering alien technology
yeah,
or not of non-human technology.
yeah. Now I have a really fundamental thing here, which is, and I think this is pretty straightforward. If there was that kind of, if that information existed, that is alien technology information, I'm pretty sure it would not be in the hands of a private company, right? It would be in the hands of a government, and they would know
Unless those
what
companies
was
are
being done with it.
actually, unless those companies are,
Working.
with the government.
Well, obviously, Lockheed Martin is hugely, a lot of their projects are government funded projects.
Yeah.
Um, but again, well, something doesn't add up about that explanation, right? Either there is a continuation of the original UFO thing of the
Mm-hmm.
government allowed these rumors to spread because it was a great distraction for what was actually being developed, which was pretty regular technology, but at the edge of what we could do, like the SR-71 Blackbird aircraft and that
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. I mean, there's meant to be a new one, isn't there? It's called a TR-3 or something, some
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. It has, a coffee machine in the cockpit. Oh, I don't know. It's got everything, right? It's got Starbucks right there in the cockpit. Um,
And the cup goes out
and
with your name.
yeah, that's right. It's incredible, right? And I just wonder whether you could imagine, right, that this Ross, what's he called? Ross
Cold heart.
Coldheart, that's it. It is possible that Ross Coldheart and many of those other, shall we say, pundits who push this kind of thing could themselves be part of a government disinformation network.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is
And
a
that,
known argument actually among all that community. The fact that there's people that most likely could be part of this information
yeah, like plants,
groups.
right? They're
Yeah.
all they're all
Mm-hmm.
planted, and I'm assuming they're all pointing at each other, are they? Yeah, I'm perfectly
Yeah.
legit. It's that guy over there, right? Yeah,
Yeah. I guess that's one of the biggest problems of all this thing. A lot of people trying to say, I have the absolute truth. I
and
think
then you don't believe
also
any of
the
them,
fact that
right?
exactly, and honestly, also it makes less believable, I guess, when you see
Yeah.
that some of these people, the first thing they do is have a book and promote the book to sell.
As soon as they got
So,
merch, it's
yeah. Now,
and
I
that's what,
understand that
and
maybe
that's
they need to live as well, survive, but,
of
you
course they do.
know, if if it's for real, and this is a subject that probably would change uh, completely the way we perceive a lot of things,
Yeah,
to be able to be believable, have credibility,
mm,
probably you will have to sacrifice the financial gain. I don't know. That's how I
exactly.
see it.
Yeah. Well, um, I think we've talked about this before in many episodes ago, and I always hang on to this idea. And this idea originally came from the development of the techniques and technologies of propaganda, right, in the
Hmm.
early parts of the 20th century.
Yeah.
And there is a book which I've actually got in my wish list on Amazon, and it's believe it or not, and it's a reprint of the original book. And the original book, I think, was published in something like 1929, and the book is called Propaganda, right?
Hmm.
And the entire modern marketing industry is based on the contents of that book. Okay. And this is an
Hmm.
acknowledged fact that modern marketing is based on the techniques and methods of propaganda, right? And one of the key tenets of propaganda is if you introduce enough confusion into an area, you can sell anything.
Yeah.
That is a basic tenet of propaganda. And if that isn't what you're seeing when you go online and on YouTube and whatever, I don't know what it is, right? Because that's what it looks
Hmm.
like to me.
Huh?
It just looks like mass confusion. Right?
Yeah. Did we
So
get our
any
check to
idea?
do this mass confusion?
I was I was going to say the thing why people can believe what we tell them is no merch,
No merch, no
no
money earned at all.
nothing, no content supervision.
Not at all.
Anyway, yeah. So that is my idea. That if you look online and you look on YouTube, very good example. What do you see?
Hmm.
Mass confusion and therefore utter suggestibility. Right?
Exactly. Opportunity to become
Hooked
notched.
on something. Yeah.
And yes.
captured, right? It's like they're capturing
Mm-hmm.
people's minds. And
We
this
did an episode about nudging like some years ago.
did.
So maybe you can go and look for it because it was also very interesting. And about also,
It was interesting.
it was related also to this uh, cognitive bias and, how we
How,
basically have been pushed to find a way
how
to,
susceptible we are, right?
yes, and to be able to be nudged and to just
Yeah.
always just trying to find the results or the narrative that fits what we are being
Yeah.
pushed and believed.
And if
That's
you
why
want a
it
good book
relates
to
a little
read,
bit of what I said before. Yeah, about openness, to or be open to new
transparency,
alternatives as
dare we
well.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if anybody wants a interesting book to read, and I haven't written it, I'm not going to suggest. I'm not going to suggest propaganda, but there is a book. It's been out a couple of years, and I've just finished it. It's by an author called Alex O'Brien. I think it's a
Hmm.
lady, an American lady. She's a professional poker player, and she
Okay.
wrote a book. She has written a book called The Truth Detective. Anyway, I've just
Okay.
finished this book. Totally worth a read. She
Hmm.
is a very smart lady indeed.
Cool.
Yeah, so that would be a book recommendation. The Truth Detective by Alex O'Brien. I'm pretty sure
Nice.
it's O'Brien.
Well,
You can get it
I
on
think it's time
popular
to,
platforms. Yes.
yeah. Well, we
Shall
have
we
now a
wrap it
small
up?
delay there, but yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up. We're almost close to the hour now.
Oh my God.
We have been,
That's
yaka now.
it's probably mostly my ranting.
All right. So thank you for watching today's episode, Carl.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Yeah, thanks, Rafa. Very entertaining.
Indeed. See you next time then.